Hey everybody, this is Laura from Texas Yankee Soaps on my inaugural video. So this is the first thing I have to do after I have made a recipe and bought all my stuff, because I have this wonderful old mold from Summer's Past Farms, and there is no insert for it, no silicone insert. So before I make soaps, I have to cut out my freezer paper, and it is a chore I hate. And I've been eyeing the 5-pound loaf at Brambleberry. I've been watching Royal Soaps and some of the other soapers using it, and I'm very jealous. But this is what I have right now, so this is what I gotta do. So if you have a wood mold, you have to line it so that the soap doesn't stick to the mold, so that you can get it out of the mold. And so that's what I'm doing here with the freezer paper. It's matte on one side and it's shiny on the other, and it works for me. It's easier to work with than parchment, because parchment just kind of slides everywhere. This you can tape the unsticky side. Look, can you see a sheen on there? So I'll come back when I've got this ready to go, and we'll talk about our soap today. This is when you get to look so pretty. So these are my hard oils, and I've had them over very low heat so that I don't scorch them, and I don't want it to get too hot. And they're almost melted, but not quite. They're only at 90 degrees right now. Oh, take that back. 100 degrees, 109. Since I stirred it up. But so what I want to do is that I'm going to be spending so much time over there with my lye and melting down my goat milk that I don't want to have to turn my attention over here. So I just want to see how that's doing. But it's taken over an hour to cook down, so I think we're going to be good. Okay. And this I got on Amazon. It was not very expensive, and I love it. It's so much easier than using a regular thermometer. So I'm going to open up the window, because you always want to use your lye in a well ventilated area. And I'm going to put my fan on high. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just very gradually stir the lye. And now this was salt water, so that my bars will be extra hard. And I just mixed it with a little water. And I had to heat it up to get it to dissolve. So I threw one of the goat milk ice cubes in there to cool that water down. When I ran my solution through the soap calculator, I used the one on soapcalc.com. It showed that my bar was probably going to be soft. And, you know, I try to keep my soaps as natural as I can. And I found last year that by adding just a little bit of salt in during the before the lye, that it really does help to make those bars much harder. So when I made my goat milk recipe last year, it took a very long time just to go very slow. I also have ice in this container around my bowl. I really don't want the temperature to get high at all. So right now it's only, is that Fahrenheit? Is that Fahrenheit? I'm asking
Yes.
you. So you see right now the temperature is very low, but it's going to get higher when the lye starts to interact with the milk. And I don't want the milk to turn yellow. I made a bar last year that turned out a really nice creamy color. time before that I made goat milk. I didn't know better about keeping it cold, and between the goat milk and the oatmeal and the honey, it turned dark brown, and it was pretty ugly. Felt great, but what an ugly bar of soap. So this is also going to be an oatmeal honey soap. I actually am going to try something I haven't done before. I'm going to try to do a swirl. When I have my batter all mixed up, I'm going to pour off some, and that's what I'm going to blend the honey in with. And I'm going to pour off some and mix the oatmeal in with that one and see if I can get a swirl. So, my kids have very sensitive skin. My daughter Lizzie has eczema, and some points in the year my son Patty also has eczema. So this is just a really gentle bar on the skin. I'm not putting any scent in it, so just keep it as natural as possible. It's super full of wonderful ingredients. It's got the goat milk, but what I did, it's powdered goat milk, and instead of mixing it with distilled water, I actually mixed it with aloe vera juice to give that extra bump. It's got a lot of shea butter. This year I'm also I'm putting lard in this soap. I've never soaked with lard before, but I've heard so many good things about how nice it is on your skin, you know, and it's a good hard oil, and it's inexpensive, so I'm going to try it out and see how it turns out. Really? Alright, that's my daughter who is, no, don't, okay, it's inside. That's my daughter who's my cameraman.
Okay, we're going to edit that out.
That's fine. So of course you can see I have my safety equipment on. I've got my long gloves. I've got my goggles. Don't I look so pretty? And this is a must. Not just safety glasses. You got to have goggles, because if this stuff splashes in your eyes, it's over, man. And I've got my vinegar right there in case I do get any splashed on my skin. And I've got an apron on. So all the safety measures. So my daughter's asking me to explain the whole vinegar thing. There are some great tutorials out there. I actually learned how to make soap from my sister Kathy. And she learned at a company called Summers Past Farms, which is in San Diego. And they sell wonderful soap making kits that you can buy that's got all of the oils already pre-mixed. You can get a kit. That's actually how I got my mold. Came with a bucket of pre-mixed oils that all you had to do, in fact, I just heated them up in the microwave. It couldn't have been easier. It has fragrance oil and instructions, and lye is extremely basic, and the vinegar is acidic, and the lye will burn your skin. It's, you know, the brand I have today is Robic Crystal Drain Opener, 100% lye. So this is the stuff that eats through everything to open up your drain. So you can imagine what it does to your fragile skin. But the vinegar neutralizes the base of the lye. So if you pour it on, if you get it on yourself, you can put vinegar on it. And I always, before I wash everything with soap, when I've been soaping, I'm just real paranoid about the lye, and so I will just after I get everything cleaned up, I do a rinse with vinegar over all my surfaces, all my utensils. You know, I soap at home. This is my kitchen, this is where my family eats, and this is where we wash up. So, you know, I want to be sure that none of us accidentally has an exposure and gets a burn, a chemical burn. So I'm pleased. This is still so nice and cool. and it's still so creamy white. I'm tempted to just dump it all in there, but I know if I do that, then it's all going to get really hot and get burned. So anyways, I have the ice around here in case the temperature does start to heat up. If I pour water into this, then it becomes an ice bath, and that'll help keep everything cool. I'm also going to try to keep everything around 80 degrees, both the goat milk lye solution and the oils when I blend them, so that they're not hot to begin with. And I'm going to be putting the whole mold right into the freezer. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put that in the freezer right now so it can start pre-cooling. Sorry, honey. Display the science behind what?
Explain the science behind why it's melting and cold.
Oh, well, because when lye mixes with water, it heats up over 200 degrees. And if my milk should heat to 200 degrees, it's going to scald it. Yeah, see, look, now it's already, yeah, see, it's starting to get hot. All right, I'm going to get the milk. I'm going to get the ice bath going before we get too hot here. So the lye, when it mixes with the water, it superheats. It gets as high as 200 degrees. Actually, I've seen it as high as 220. And if you mix the milk with that, it'll scorch the milk. It'll turn a yellow color, and it'll start to smell really strong ammonia smell. And I really want these bars to turn out like the pretty color I had last year.
Add more ice.
I can't add more ice.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's why I'm getting that ice bath going, to keep it from getting too hot. Alright, I'm just going to do this. And I noticed when I was doing this that I did get a little lye here on my scale. Which I also wipe down. I don't want to touch it. So when I clean up, I'm going to be sure to hit lye all over that place. Okay, that's enough. Alright. So good. We're only at about 78, which is exactly where I want to be. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to sit. I'm going to check on my oils over here. They are all melted, and I'm not really sure
That's a good oil.
if maybe my shea butter. I have this foam on my last batch, and my shea butter is just at a year old, so I don't know if it's from the shea butter, but I'm just going to scoop that off. Obviously won't be selling any of these bars.
Does the foam take away from it?
No. But it can leave bubbles. I don't know about it. We'll edit that part out. Alright. So where are we at? So it went 20. So I'm going to turn that off the heat. And I'm going to pour my...
And what's this?
this is my liquid oils. So the oils I'm working with today, I have grapeseed oil. I've got a little olive oil in there, avocado oil, the solid oils were the shea butter and lard and coconut oil. I've got some castor oil. I always put castor oil in my soaps. I think it really helps with conditioning and making it just really nice on the skin. What else is on my list? Avocado, shea, castor, coconut, palm oil. And that's sustainably grown palm oil, organic. And I was so excited they sell it at Walmart now. Which I know a lot of people think Walmart is the devil, but when you're on a budget, it works pretty nicely. Okay. So actually that foam incorporated pretty nicely there. But you see how it's got all these bubbles now?
Mhm.
So I may have a bubbly soap. Okay, so I want that to cool a little bit. Ooh, that helped a lot. So that's 100 now. Let's see how we are here. Oh, we're at 80. So I'm going to carefully take this out. Put my oils in there to cool. So yeah, when you're soaping, normally you're going to want your temperatures to be, I like to soap around 120. Both my lye and my oils, and you really want them to be about the same temperature. You don't want them to be more than a 5 degree to 10 degree difference. Yeah, so if you need to get them cool, use an ice bath.
Cool cats.
And if you need to get it warmed up, then you put it in some warm water or over the stove. Now, when I first started soaping, everything I read said you don't want to put your oils on the stove because you may scorch them, but more and more lately I'm seeing everyone heating up on the stove. I used to do everything by a double boiler. Okay, so while that was going, I cleaned up a little bit. It's got the vinegar on it, so we've got 78 and 78. Perfect. So I'm going to take
Bam. Identical.
this. And I've got my stick blender, but I'm just going to blend it by hand to start with, just because I know it's going to, you always put the lye into your liquid, and you always put the lye into the oils, not the other way around. So,
Why is that?
because you can cause a volcano, and then you're going to have an explosion of lye everywhere, which clearly can be very, very dangerous. So, add water to lye, make you die. Look out. Oh, I'm so excited. It's just so pretty and creamy.
It's got a nice opaqueness about it.
So we're not at trace yet, but you can kind of start to see the lines there on the surface.
You can
So
explain
we're
to
almost-
everyone what trace is.
So trace is when the saponification begins. You're going to start to see the trace of the soap on itself. It's almost like a line that stays in there. So I'm going to go ahead and burp my Back in the old days, they had to stir and stir and stir for like an hour.
That must have been rough.
I'm sure. So nice to have these stick blenders.
Although I'm pretty sure they like dip these high and stuff.
They sure do.
How would they get high though?
So lye in nature comes from the rainwater going down through the ashes of the fires, and it's created in a chemical process there. And at some point, somebody realized that the fat from the meal or from the sacrifice made this soapy substance that you could wash yourself with, and that's how we figured out how to make lye soap. So now we've got a very light trace. You see, actually not quite light enough for me. Get a little bit more.
There's no trace.
Well, there's a little bit of a trace. And because the temperatures are so low, I'll take a bit. dump that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have. Get a little bit of a burn. Just got my spot. All right. So remember, I've not done swirling before. I've seen it. Pour off some here.
Ooh. Bam.
Pour off some there.
That's some strong porridge.
Porridge.
Porridge is in pouring stuff, not the meal.
Okay. So it's like about the same amount, those two. Alright.
Bam.
So I'm going to put this ground up oatmeal in one.
And what did you grind it up with?
My coffee grinder.
And where do people find a coffee grinder?
Oh, any place, Target, Walmart. Okay, so this is the honey. And I dissolved the honey. I put
Strong.
2 ounces by weight of honey. And I blended it in 1.5 ounces of distilled water by weight. And I accounted for that water, that liquid, in my recipe, because if I didn't, I would end up having too much water and my soap would not necessarily turn out right. So, and this is just oatmeal that I bought at the store, rolled oats. Okay, so now I'm going to use the stick blender on there. Bubbles are falling off my face. Okay. So I'm going to do the oatmeal first.
Bam. You can see a little bit of a trace now.
Honey. And honey will also make your soap, it will make it hot. So between the two of them,
It's gonna be some hot.
it's going to be
soap.
some really hot soap. So, and I'm hoping that the difference in the temperature might give me an interesting swirl. Okay.
Can oatmeal make your soap hot?
Yeah, because it's got sugars in it, so it definitely can. In fact, that's why that one already got so thick. All right.
Now why is there bubble wrap in here?
Because that's going to give me a texture that looks like honeycomb.
Bam. Ooh, that's a nice trace. You can see the trace of that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah, I can feel the heat on there. Okay, so I'm going to go high. This is going to make 3 bars that go like this. So you see sometimes people just swirl in a little bit.
pour. Nice pour. That's some good pouring.
Okay, thanks. And so, like I said, I've never done a swirl before.
This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it sure is.
You should do it like that ways.
Well, I think I'll get too busy.
So it's really fun. Give the people what they want.
You know what though? I think I did it too much, and now it's going to be not as apparent. Not as. So I think next time I just do just 1 or 2.
There's a little bit more in here. Ooh, bam lama ding dong. Ooh, that's a nice trace. That's like a quality trace.
And yeah, you can see how it's thickening up.
Quality stuff. Spatula. It's not actually a spatula. More of that.
It is.
Oh, it is.
Okay, so now.
It shows you how much I know stuff.
I'm trying to think how they did it. If they went that.
nice. That's some. Ooh, that's some.
Ooh, yeah, look at that.
That is like oddly satisfying stuff right there. Wow. I'm just gonna. Wow, look at that. Ooh, that's some. Ooh,
Okay, so
we got some
now
nice stuff.
that's what it's going to look like inside. Now we're going to do this more on the top.
Ooh, pour it. It's like slime
I
videos on
should have
Insta.
not done that. I should have waited. Live and learn. This is how we learn, right?
Yeah. This is like oddly satisfying videos on Instagram.
Good.
It's very nice. It's like ASMR, but like not. But like the vision version of ASMR. What would that be called? Video.
So I'm going to do this
That's loud.
to bring up any bubbles.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, you
Now,
can look at those bubbles.
I really don't want bubbles.
Bubbles are not soap. They're just air. And they are unnecessary.
So yeah, this did get pretty thick.
Wow. Thick. You can see the color difference in there.
Yeah, isn't
That's
that
a-
cool?
That's a nice color difference. Like, wow. What a nice color scheme.
Oops. Plop.
Disgusting. Get rid of it. Swoop. There's a thing in science called a scapula, and I
Yeah.
don't like that word.
It's just your shoulder blade.
Oh, that was a scapula, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull, like, you know, you scoop something with it. Like a spatula, but you scap it. Like or is it a scapula?
Maybe that's why they call the scapula, because it looks like a scoop, kind of.
Maybe.
Okay, so now we're going to try this again.
Thin it out. Yeah, smooth
I'm
at it.
just going to try and make it into like even lines first, and then
Smooth her out. Wow.
again, just like before.
Ooh, iconic. I'm just gonna angle it, like come around, okay?
I think if I had a skewer, that would probably work much better.
That's some good stuff.
Okay, now, you grab a skewer out of there.
A what?
Skewer. Do you have any?
No, we have chopsticks though.
No?
Bam, take your chopstick.
Okay, so I'm going to try this that I saw. I'm just going to use it in the corner and see how that goes.
Does it work? I see swirlies. It make the swirl. The swirl is happening, people.
What do you like better, that or that?
I don't know. I'm thinking,
I kind of like that better.
yeah, it's more smoothie.
It's so pretty. Okay, now I'm not sure where the edge. 3, 1, 2. So let's just do a little bit of edge here.
You gotta smooth that stuff out, man. You just gotta.
Of course, this is going to be the side of the soap, so I guess it really doesn't even matter.
Yes.
No, this will be the top. Yeah, that'll be the top.
Well, we're
That's so
still
pretty.
cutting it, so it's
Yeah,
like.
so we're going to cut
don't
that way.
matter.
Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. Okay, let's go put this in the freezer. Sweetie, will you open the freezer for me?
She is beautiful. Wow. Oh, look at that freeze.
Alrighty.
Sweet.